Oh yeah. Somebody has a problem with the way I view gang members and gang activity. I view it as being homosexual. I'll explain to you. So there's no more doubt or question. You got a guy over here. He's got like 200 grand of gold on his neck. You know, he's a big player in some gang thing, or he's a rapper or something. He's got enough money on his neck to buy a home for somebody. He's out here making records and making fortunes, hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, a week, month, whatever, a year, selling records to people who have nothing. Like you got this guy over here. He's committing robberies to get crack and bread so he doesn't starve to death or fall asleep. Because if he falls asleep, one of the other crackheads might steal, I don't know, his fucking pants or his shoes or something. I don't know what crackheads are like. I try to stay away from that community for a reason. But I imagine it's something along that lines where you gotta stay awake and get away from these people just to not have to interact with them. And I'm going to tell you right now, I get up really early in the morning because I was raised in a military family. So when I get up early in the morning, I mean, Jocko gets up late on average for me. But in reality, I see it as homosexual behavior because when the Christian church has to protect its own, it has to protect its own. As a Christian, we can't interact with these gang members because I don't know what they're doing. I don't know who they are, what they're involved in. We just don't interact with them. We don't even consider them as being somebody we need to reach out to because that's a law enforcement matter at that point. What they're doing is illegal. The activities they're involved in are generally considered immoral, unethical, and pretty much illegal everywhere. Gang membership within the United States in general is considered a felony or a misdemeanor almost everywhere. Certain gangs, it's a felony because the activities of the gang is their terroristic level. They're like countries threatening. We just had one classified as a terrorist organization that's been a gang since 2003. They started on the internet, they took it into the real world and started harassing people everywhere. And we all know who Antifa is. But you have to understand the way we view this stuff is there are souls that we have to protect. The innocents, the children, the people who are already within the flock, within the church itself. And then there are ones who are not within the church, not within the flock, that we can't tolerate being around the flock for long enough periods of time to allow them to contaminate or steal members of the flock. The point being is we can't let those people target children in the first place. And it's not that we are callous, we're soulless, we don't care about these people. It's that we don't know who they are. I don't know who that person is. When that person moves into my neighborhood or moves into my community and they're looking around really suspicious and they're acting strange and I happen to be around a school, I'm literally around a school, I have to look at them with a lot of scrutiny saying, I can't interact with this person at any level. I don't even consider this to be a human being yet. Not because I don't think they have any humanity, but because they might be here because there's a school right next to me. So you have to understand that when we're interacting outside of our community, I don't know who this person is. I don't know why you're here. I don't know why you're trying to break into my home if you are. And it happens often. I don't know why you're attacking me on the internet. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're phishing me, trying to find out where I'm at, because at that point, it's, why are you here? I get the impression you're trying to attack kids because it's known that I am opposed to all this pedophilia stuff. And this guy's from Evergreen. I don't know if you know where Evergreen is. Shut up, dude. Shut up. I know where you're from. I've been there. Don't walk around acting like you're hard. But the point being is, going around telling people that you're protecting pedophiles. I've spoken to Mike Johnson myself before, and I know for a fact that he does not protect pedophiles. Does he know any? I don't know. I don't go out of my way to interrogate the Speaker of the House. I may not agree with him because of his position on Israel, well known, but it doesn't mean anybody is protecting pedophiles. And if you honestly believe Donald Trump, because I'm just going to go on a limb here and assume that you're one of these people on the internet saying Donald Trump is a pedophile because he took a flight on the Lolita Express. If you have evidence, by all means, present it. You have evidence to present it. If you have, I've said this before, I said this like 5 years ago. This is a very easy problem to solve. There has to be at least 10 or 12,000 people that Jeffrey Epstein interacted with at some kind of level. And even a basic private investigator who has no skills whatsoever can do enough work, leg work, interview work, recording conversations to find the actual truth of the matter. And I'm gonna throw this out there. As a YouTube person, a person who's worked on YouTube, not making a YouTube videos. I'm not a YouTuber. I am a person who worked on the platform itself, on the tech side. I can tell you right now, we have at least 5 or 6 major YouTubers who have actually been to Epstein's Island. They've recorded themselves on the island, including some of the friends of Mr. Beast. I don't know if you know who Mr. Beast is, but if you actually have a problem, you should probably go and ask some people who did the legwork for you already. We've already had people do the legwork, so we know exactly what the conversation involves. We know who was working for Epstein. We know that some of the pilots working for Lolita Express. So if you actually cared about any of this, you would have done the legwork. Since you haven't and you're just grandstanding, trying to threaten Mike Johnson, whom I can understand. I may not like Mike and his politics, and you might think you're a tough guy. Dude, you're from Evergreen. Evergreen, really. Really. I have to say, seriously, man, you need to move along. We don't need this conversation. You guys are arguing about stuff that doesn't matter. You're bringing up, you're trying to say, oh, where's the Epstein files? I'm not in charge of the Epstein files. I don't actually care about the Epstein files because we did our own work. We did our own legwork. We were like, okay, we have one name. We have a pilot's name. We went from there and just connected the dots all the way through. I told you there's like 10 to 12,000 employees that worked for Jeffrey Epstein at one time. When he was at his peak of $500 million a year, this man employed like 600 people just around his home itself. The island was like another 200 or 300 people, and that's not even his scouts, because this man had people going everywhere, recruiting people to get into modeling. He had an agency where he was recruiting girls to become models and all this stuff. Like, you have to understand, this man was everywhere. Everywhere. And if you think a man was having relationships with a girl outside of his marriage, first thing, that's between him, God, and his wife, not you. Does that affect your vote? It should, but it's still between him, God, and his wife. If you think that's an issue and that actually happened, then obviously you're going to vote differently. If you think she was underage, well, most of the country, until very recently, the age of consent was 16. I think Alabama had it at 14 at one point. I'm not 100% certain. So you need to go back and re-examine your premises, because some of these girls may be from places where the age of consent was low enough. Am I validating saying this can happen, this should have happened, or I'm saying any of this is right or wrong? No, I'm not. What I'm saying is you're inciting people against these people, and it's wrong. If you're going out and pointing fingers about Epstein stuff, knowing that Epstein may have possibly been murdered, not suicide. You know, maybe he did get suicided in the Clinton fashion. We know the rumors around Clinton's. Okay, that's a thing. That's incitement. And if you're in the realm of thought where in your mind you think that Jeffrey Epstein may not have killed himself, and you're going around telling people like Mike Johnson that he's protecting a pedophile, not a pedophile. Pedo means foot. Pedo means young child. A pedophile. And you're over here inciting that violence while believing that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in prison, jail, on his way to prison while they were trying him. You're inciting. You're consciously making the choice to incitement. That's intentional. Because if you believe that Jeffrey Epstein was suicided Clinton style, everybody knows the rumor around Clinton, then you believe there was a conspiracy to cover up what Jeffrey Epstein was involved in. And from this framework of mind, your intent and motive to say something like that is to incite violence against him. I really just wanted to get into constitutional law for intellectual property. But you couldn't even leave me alone in college. I'm from green whatever place.